Today is Friday, November 13th. Welcome to this edition of Nevada County Now. Today's episode we're talking COVID spike, schools, novel writing, and more. Hello and welcome to Nevada County Now. I'm your host, Cole Pettit. We've seen an increase of 91 COVID-19 cases this week, including the largest one-day increase we've seen since the pandemic began, at 47 new cases yesterday alone. Our total now sits at 779 confirmed cases. 128 cases are currently active with 4 hospitalizations, and the death toll remains at 9. It seems likely at this point that we will find ourselves moving backward into the state's red tier, if not even further to the state's purple tier. If Nevada County's COVID-19 data meets the more restrictive red or purple tier next week, Nevada County will move into the red tier beginning Tuesday, November 17th. Nevada County Public Health reminds residents to continue practicing social distancing, masking, hand washing, and minimizing social mixing between households, even with outdoor activities such as hunting and fishing. If you are mildly symptomatic, please stay home and don't assume it's allergies or a cold. Testing is highly recommended. If you are getting tested due to being symptomatic, having a possible exposure to COVID-19, or as a precaution after traveling, please remember to stay home and limit your interactions in public places until you receive your results. Schedule a cost-free COVID-19 test at lhi.care/COVID testing or call 1-888-634-1123. To support our business community and lessen business restrictions, we need to be even more diligent about refraining from activities that are contributing to our recent increase in COVID-19 cases, such as social gatherings and going into work with COVID-like symptoms. The data can easily move in either direction, and if we want to keep moving forward, it is incumbent upon us as a community to embrace safety and continue to reduce spread. Should we find ourselves moving into the red tier, some notable changes would be that restaurants would need to reduce indoor capacity from 50% or 200 people to 25% or 100 people. Retail establishments which currently have no capacity modifications would be reduced to 50% indoor capacity. Movie theaters would also need to reduce indoor capacity from 50% or 200 people to 25% or 100 people. Gyms and fitness centers would reduce capacity from 25% to 10%. Places of worship also would reduce from 50% or 200 people to 25% or 100 people. Bars and breweries, which are currently open outdoors with modifications in the orange tier, would be closed entirely in the red tier, and wineries would be reduced to outdoor only with modifications in the red tier from their current status at 25% capacity or 100 people. Schools, moving from the orange tier to the red tier, would not result in school closure. Individual school closure is determined by number of COVID-19 cases, percentage of students, teachers, and staffs who are positive, and in consultation with the Nevada County Public Health Department. We have had several cases of COVID-19 in our schools at this point. To find out how they're dealing with this challenge, this morning I spoke with Nevada County Superintendent of Schools, Scott Ley. So I'm joined today once again by Superintendent of Schools, Scott Ley. Thanks for joining me today, Scott.
You're welcome, Cole. Good to be here. Wish we were talking about moving into yellow or something else and everything was going great. We're opening our school 5 days a week, but that's not the reality in our county right now.
Yeah, sadly so. So yeah, you're right on the money again. That's where we're going. Can you tell us at the moment what's the update with cases in the school, COVID-19 cases? For those who may not be aware, where are we at right now?
Yeah, so right now, as we know in our county, we had, I think you and I were talking, 47 new cases yesterday in the county. Of those, a couple were at our schools. And we just had another case this morning that came in at one of our elementary schools in the Pleasant Ridge School District. So we've had the districts that have been impacted so far: Nevada Joint Union, Grass Valley, Union Hill, Pleasant Ridge. Those are just the ones in last week. We've had other cases in the other districts. So, and Twin Ridges, which did have to go back to distance learning for 2 weeks. Not surprising that we're seeing more cases. We do know people have let their guard down a bit. We do know there were Halloween parties and trick-or-treating and close contact, and I get it. Having kids, it's difficult, and I think we're all very tired of it, but I think we're seeing the impact of that. What the good news for schools is that our protocols and procedures seem to be working, that we are catching most of these cases upon entry to school by screening, temperature, symptom checks, holding them in the office. So those cases haven't impacted any cohorts. There have been a couple that were almost asymptomatic when they arrived at school, and then at some point during the day, I'm thinking of the Pleasant Ridge situation earlier this week, the student got sick, showed symptoms, was immediately sent to the office, and then tests came back that they were COVID positive. So we've had to isolate some cohorts in that case. But that's worked. The biggest issue we have right now in Nevada County is a shortage of substitute teachers now. Testing times have gone way up in our county. It's almost 4 or 5 days to get into the Optum Serve at the Vets Hall, plus 4 days to get your results back. That's a lot. And given that the lack of substitute teachers, that's impactful, and that in itself could shut cohorts down without being able to get a substitute in a classroom. So I've been working with our insurance companies that serve our districts, as well as our public health and our county, to see, can we increase testing for schools to keep them open, because we know if we had to go backwards into full distance learning, that does impact the community. And as you and I were talking, we know if we go to red, the tier, even if we go to the purple tier, if schools are open, they do not need to close down, as long as we don't meet too high of a number at each site. So if, let's say we had 5 or 6 students at one site test positive for COVID, that could shut a school down. We haven't had that yet, thank goodness. But it's going to be the lack of substitute teachers, I think, that is going to get us, and the testing, the slow testing right now. So those are priorities. Testing, we can try to do something about. Substitute teachers, I'm not sure what we can do. Our substitute teacher pool is usually retired teachers, the bulk of them, and they're nervous to come back into the classroom, and I understand that. I support them. We give them PPE, we give them training, but that is a choice. So we're getting between a rock and a hard place right now, and trying to push forward and get creative.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say or message to parents or the community that's concerned at the moment?
No, I would just say I have visited many schools and socially distanced, of course, and with my PPE on, and the schools are doing a really good job. They really are. The kids are safe. Their staff are safe there. Just please, don't let your guard down outside the schools. Keep everybody safe. Try to keep our schools open. Let's not get to the orange tier. The purple tier. And I know it's tough. If people have questions, have them contact their school district directly or their charter school for answers. They're more than happy to talk. They're always welcome to call my office, and we can point in the right direction or answer the question. We're going to be releasing a letter here in about an hour to the community, so they understand what's going on in all the schools and what some of the challenges are with that. That's it. And just for everybody to stay safe out there. It's harder. It's getting cold. We're all going indoors now. We have a lot of family events coming up, and those may look very, very different this year.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think you're right. I think Thanksgiving is going to be very different this year than it has been in the past.
Unfortunately, so yes.
Yeah. Well, take care of yourself out there, and thanks for joining us today.
Always happy to, Cole. Hopefully next time we'll have good news.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love to hear.
Okay. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Scott. As we move closer to potential restrictions, the Nevada County Restaurant Coalition has announced it has filed a federal lawsuit against the state and local government because of the restrictions they've already had to face. For more, let's turn it over to Sonora Slater.
Thanks, Cole. The Nevada County Restaurant Coalition was formed in September in hopes of accelerating the reopening of indoor dining for local businesses. It has since gained several new members and is modifying its strategy for opposition to state-mandated regulations to include a legal stand, having recently filed a federal lawsuit against the state and local government. The coalition is now comprised of 11 restaurants, including Friar Tax, Sergio's Cafe, 111 Kitchen and Bar, Old Town Cafe, Valentina's, 1849 Brewing Co., Meze, The Poor House, Toffanelli's, Maria's Mexican Restaurant, and Cane's Bar and Grill. The reasoning behind filing a lawsuit was explained in a press release sent out on November 12th, which stated that arbitrary restrictions have damaged the community, families, and businesses. Ken Page, owner of Fire Tux and a leader in the coalition, referenced the impact of the pandemic thus far, saying that already in California, more than 20,000 small businesses have closed permanently as a result of the governor's severe destructive policies. The lawsuit, according to the press release, alleges that California Governor Gavin Newsom has exceeded his emergency powers in issuing executive orders that violate the constitutional rights of Californians. Some of the rights that the coalition feels have been violated include due process, the First Amendment rights to free speech, assembly, and petition, and the Commerce Clause. The suit also names the Director of Public Health, the State Health Officer, the Nevada County Board of Supervisors, and others. The coalition's lead attorney is Stephen C. Bailey, a retired California Superior Court judge and a former court judge in El Dorado County. He also made a statement in the press release, talking about his thoughts on the state's blueprint for a safer economy. A review of the state's most recent list of restrictions, the Blueprint for a Safer Economy, shows there is no set of criteria under which the local businesses can fully reopen. Restaurants are forced to remain at 50% capacity or less for however long the governor subjectively deems necessary, he said. Meze owner Alon Greenstein explained why his restaurant made the choice to join the coalition. There is no voice for people who disagree with the undemocratic, unlawful, unconstitutional current COVID ordinances, he said. The regulations are causing an ongoing interference in our ability to pursue freedom, happiness, and well-being. That's why we joined. Back to you, Cole.
Thanks, Sonora. A winter weather advisory has been issued starting at 10 a.m. today and lasting until 10 p.m. this evening. 3 to 6 inches of snow is forecast above 6,000 feet. Be careful on the roadways as they are likely to be slippery and in higher elevations may be covered with snow. Travel delays and chain controls may be possible, so plan accordingly. Conditions look to be improving over the weekend with the potential for more precipitation starting again on Tuesday. November is National Novel Writing Month, and if you're looking for an activity to keep you entertained, consider giving it a shot. With more on this, let's hear once again from Sonora Slater.
Thanks, Cole. There are plenty of random national days of celebration that will pop up on Instagram or Facebook, but most of them don't really mean much of anything. It's great that January 21st is National Squirrel Appreciation Day, but what do you really do to celebrate that? On the other hand, National Novel Writing Month, often referred to as NaNoWriMo and taking place every November, is all about doing something, meeting goals, and having fun along the way. NaNoWriMo began in 1991, when 21 participants pushed themselves creatively by attempting to write 50,000 words in 1 month. The idea has since grown, and last year hundreds of thousands of writers attempted the challenge. Although it's a national event, we certainly have local participants. One of them is local author and teacher Kim Culbertson. Kim is the author of 5 young adult novels, with her first book having been published in 2007. Part of her inspiration to begin writing stories about teenagers came from her experience teaching, especially because she felt like there weren't enough books taught in classrooms that had female protagonists. She sought to write books with female leads that she could teach in her classroom. This year, Kim is participating in NaNoWriMo for the first time. She's known about the event for years, but has just never felt that her writing style was in line with writing 50,000 words in 1 month. Still, she made sure to add that, "I've always had a great deal of admiration for those who take it on." She went on to explain why she decided to break from her decision in years past to participate this year. "When the pandemic hit, my writing came to a screeching halt," she said. "I wasn't writing at all for 4 or 5 months. Kim explained that the novel she had been working on before COVID-19 hit was set in our world, in modern times. She felt that our world, and therefore the world that her characters live in, had changed so much that it had to somehow play a part in the story she was telling. But she didn't quite know how. I just needed to do something to light a fire under me to get me to start writing again, she said, and went on to talk about how it's gone for her so far. So far, she's written about 11,000 words. She's not on pace for 50,000, but she's okay with that, because she feels like NaNoWriMo has still done for her what she needed. It's getting her to show up every day and write and track her progress. Kim talked about how inspiring it's been to see so many people participating in NaNoWriMo alongside her, even if they, too, aren't quite on track to complete the challenge, from other local authors to old friends. It's really cool to see how many people are engaging in the written word this month, even people I know who I never thought would be participating, she said. I think NaNoWriMo is very connective, which is good because writing can also be very solitary. It's nice for writers to know that they're not alone tapping away at their keyboards. Anyone can participate in the writing challenge, no matter their age. You can start at any point in November, and even if 50,000 words seems unattainable, you can simply set the goal for yourself of trying to write every day for 30 days. Sign up at nanowrimo.org, or if you're under 18, sign up for the NaNoWriMo Young Writers Program at ywp.nanowrimo.org. Kim encouraged others to write this month, be it a novel or just a short story, because she believes that just as the world affected and changed her storytelling this year, storytelling could change the world. I really believe in the power of story, she said. The more our world can understand humans and the relationships between them and what drives them, the better. We're all driven by our personal stories and by trying to understand the stories of others. That's why I really believe in the work that I do. Back to you, Cole.
Thanks, Sonora. With Thanksgiving just around the corner, Animal Place, a local animal sanctuary, is hosting their 10th annual Thank the Turkeys event. Join them virtually on Saturday the 21st, starting at 12 p.m. Enjoy a talk given by Executive Director and co-founder Kim Surla, a special turkey feeding ceremony, and a live cooking class with Tony Okoto Shapiro, and from Plant-Based on a Budget, and Michelle Sien from World of Vegan. Registration includes a beautiful Thank the Turkeys cooking apron, a foster parent certificate, and the first 25 to register will receive a coupon for a free Tofurkey holiday roast. All event proceeds support their turkey flock. Visit animalplace.org to register for this event. Thanks for joining us, and remember, stay safe, take care of each other. We'll see you next week.